little bluestem, Sidotes grama, and buffalo grass are among the diverse grass species living in the mixed grass and tall grass prairies of Oklahoma. Prescribed burning plays a pivotal role in managing these dynamic ecosystems. Today, we explore the inspiring journey of John Weir, a pioneering advocate dedicated to preserving and promoting prescribed burning practices among current land managers, owners, and the next generation of stewards.
I spent most of my life in mixed grass, tall grass prairie. Grew up in that region in the mixed grass in southwest Oklahoma. Again, been working in tall grass, mixed grass, prairie region throughout most of Oklahoma for the last 30 years.
And in those 30 years, John, an associate extension specialist at Oklahoma State University, has observed a trend. As more farmland, prairies, and ranches are acquired by individuals lacking a background in land management, prescribed burning has decreased.
I've seen the change in the ecosystems over time. Again, the encroachment of cedars and other woody plants, it's just incredible. Especially in my lifetime from growing up in Oklahoma, things have totally changed.
But what has not changed is John's dedication to understanding and promoting the benefits of prescribed burning.
Prescribed fire has been used for decades in Oklahoma. When I first started, I think it was more localized. There were certain regions in the state that burned a lot, typically the southeast and the northeast. Quite a bit, wasn't as much fire in the western parts of the state.
And the benefits of burning are a long list.
Again, livestock production, wildlife, again, wildfire threats, human health, woody plant control, cedar control, throughout here, much of the Great Plains is the number one reason most people are burning anyway is cedar control. And so we're seeing that, and we're seeing really good results.
Although the benefits are well known to John and to others born and raised on the land, many of those people have moved away or passed on, taking the culture around burning with them.
Smokey the Bear did way too good a job of telling people that fire's bad. People get their information from a cartoon bear, and I'm trying to overcome a cartoon bear. Imagine that.
Because of this, John faces the challenge of convincing those unfamiliar with or fearful of fire to embrace its beneficial use.
Also, the media portrayal of wildfires, that all fire's bad, and that wildfire, that's the way all fire behaves, is the way a wildfire is. And that's as far from the truth as there is. Overcoming those kind of things to get people to use fire that haven't used fire or that are scared of it is probably the biggest challenge that we face.
To address this challenge, John hosts educational webinars and hands-on workshops to teach people how to safely use fire.
The biggest thing I'm proud of is all the burn associations, how they've taken off, starting them up and getting them going. We started with very few in the southern Great Plains.
His extensive experience includes 1,431 burns on 122,269 acres, primarily as a fire boss. John has taught 5 courses and conducted 44 schools and workshops. His expertise has earned him positions on councils, committees, and advisory boards throughout North America, influencing fire policies in the U.S. and Canada. With 93 publications and nearly 270 invited talks and tours nationwide, including the Anderson Lecture, his work has been instrumental in evolving traditional practices and enhancing land management strategies. John's efforts have led to the creation of over 120 burn associations across 15 states, fostering a collaborative approach to prescribed burning. These burn associations are crucial because they form a network of people who can assist in burning your land responsibly, ensuring that grasslands are well maintained and cared for.
The other big accomplishment is all the training and the classes that I've taught and all the training that I've done, thinking about how many fire plans have been written, how many burns have been conducted, and how many acres have been burned due to the training and stuff that's that I've been able to do. It makes you feel good.
His passion and commitment to leaving a lasting legacy are also exemplified through his book entitled Global Application of Prescribed Fire. Through his dedicated efforts, John has not only preserved the tradition of controlled burning, but has also showcased its success across various seasons, challenging long-standing beliefs.
The initial stuff we looked at, the effects of growing season burns and the impacts of that. So starting to burn outside of traditional windows, and so we've been able to change the total mindset and culture to think about burning at different seasons of the year.
By demonstrating the effectiveness of burning year-round, John has encouraged a broader acceptance of fire as a land management tool. This approach has helped the ecosystem by removing brush and invasive species, providing healthier grasslands for livestock and wildlife.
A lot of times people are set in this tradition of we can only burn these certain months of the year, and then after that we're done. And most people burn because, again, a lot of times people thought, you couldn't burn in the growing season or during the summer months just because of what it might do to the plant communities, or just how difficult it would be, or to get a fire going, or how counter to that they always thought, oh, the summer's hot and dry and we'll just create a huge big wildfire. And then on the other hand, people would say, oh, it's so wet and green, nothing will burn in the summer. And they'll talk about weather and time constraints. And part of it's being, we have always had this traditional burn season that's typically spring here in the southern Great Plains. And getting people to start thinking outside that box of burning during that traditional time, that you can do it, and you can be very effective with your fire. You can meet goals and objectives and do that kind of stuff, and you can get more fire on the ground, and that's a big part of it. Burning needs to be a 12-month, 365-day-a-year project. And that way you can get your fires accomplished.
John's advice to keep fire management simple and to find experienced partners has helped many overcome their initial fears.
What's the first thing that you ever remember people telling you about fire?
Too hot, don't
That's right, don't touch, get away, you're gonna get burnt, get back. Everything's always negative towards fire.
Yep.
That's unfortunately, it's the way we are in our society, and so trying to change people's mindset that fire isn't that way. And fire is not difficult. Fire is not rocket science. Fire is simple to do if you just sit and think about it just a little bit.
Despite the challenges, including public perception and liability concerns, John emphasizes the importance of responsible fire management.
The number one reason people use that don't burn to begin with is liability. They're scared of liability. Because again, we're able to show that the liability with fire is just not there. But then you start talking to people that do burn and you ask them the same question, so why aren't you burning, or why are you not getting more burns done? You're at greater risk doing any and other things that you do in your everyday life, for either getting injured or even for lawsuits. Again, that's what people think. And so trying to get people to overcome and show people that the liability and that risk is just not that great with fire is a big challenge.
But he says if you're still unsure how to start burning or are afraid,
find people that aren't, help them, work with them. The best thing to do is form a burn association in your community, in your area. That's the best thing that you can do if you're wanting to get fire on the ground and you don't have, you're not comfortable with it, and that fire culture is not there. Work with other like-minded producers to get that started, and that'll help take you the furthest of anything.
Education and cooperation among landowners have been key to reducing regulatory problems and increasing the acceptance of controlled burns.
The landowners and stuff do a really good job of policing themselves and managing their smoke, where we don't get a lot of complaints and a lot of problems. That has led to less regulatory issues or regulatory problems or anything like that.
Regulations determine when and how often ranchers and landowners can burn, so burning safely is crucial to prevent unnecessary burn bans from being placed on landowners.
What is it going to take for the general public to have a greater acceptance of fire and smoke in their community, and to how do we better educate everybody as a whole? Landowners, agencies, general public. That social science question needs to be answered. What's the best way we can do that?
Driving around in the spring and seeing more smoke columns than before, John feels a sense of pride.
But again, when you start putting fire back on the landscape and back on the ground, I've also seen areas start reverting back. And that's really rewarding to be able to see that and see big scale areas where that's happening and stuff, and where the landowners are working together and stuff. That makes you feel good and see the importance of of how that fire and how that management can happen.
John's legacy of promoting controlled burns and training the next generation ensures that the tradition of fire management will continue to grow and evolve.
I want to be remembered as somebody that helped start burn associations and get more things on the ground, and a legacy training people that are continue to use fire, and those people train next generation to use fire, and that generation trains the next generation.
His vision transcends mere fire management. It's about creating an enduring impact.
I would like to be the little ember that started, that it grew into the big flame one of these days when I'm long gone. That's fine. But as long as that flame's still burning, that's all that matters.